NCRP Productions presents Feast of Legends, the Wendy's role-playing game. Order number 3.
Hey everybody, this is Pedro and welcome to another game of Feast of Legends. Woo! Woo! Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Woof.
Everybody just left me hanging there, but Mike, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no worries. That's what I'm here for.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Let's go ahead and start with seeing who's around the table with you.
Hello, listener. My name is John, and I'll be playing Jules Leotard, of the Order of the Fries.
Did you actually say listener? Like only
Well, I mean,
one person?
that'd be pretty accurate.
I think I said listener.
Or are you narrowly directing it to every single
James,
listener?
you sitting there. Yeah, I know you're in your car. You're gonna have a great day today.
James.
I endorse your day, James.
Good job, James.
I love you.
And you are?
And I'm Mike, and I will be playing Elados de l'Arctique, the Order of the Frosty.
Hey, this is Barry. I am running Cranston Tater, Order of the Baconator Fries.
Hi, it's Sequoia, and I'm running Lady Holsteena, Order of the Baconator.
And we're back to me, Pedro, who's going to be the Dave for this episode.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, guys. So, fun new thing, for the first time, somebody has taken advantage of something in the system, which is if you eat something from Wendy's, you actually get a bonus. There are negatives, but I'm not going to force you all to, have to eat Wendy's, but you should.
Absolutely not.
You should be eating Wendy's. By the way, I would also accept if you, printed out a picture of a Wendy's item and ate it in front of me.
I would rather eat the paper, yeah.
That's fine, honestly. Show me what it
3D
is.
print your Wendy's meal.
Because, Barry, for your dedication...
Thank you.
You ate...
And diarrhea.
What was
Not
it?
yet.
You ate 2 things.
Well, I actually had a Dave's single. However, it was delivered to me as a Dave's double. So a full half pound of hot and juicy, fresh from the frozen beef.
Nice!
And a Frosty.
Well, so for any cheeseburger item eaten from Wendy's, and these buffs do stack, it makes explicit statement of that, you get to add for this session +1 to your strength stat.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the Frosty, you get to add 1 to your charm stat for the day.
Wonderful. For the adventure of the day.
Yes, for the adventure, for this session.
Oh God, that should be how we level up, is we can just farm Wendy's and just keep slamming cheeseburgers. I got a 30 in strength. I feel terrible.
And Barry, just so you know, anything from 19 to 12 is a +1, 13 to 15 is +2, 16 is +3, and over 16 is +4.
Wonderful. None of my stats actually changed the bonus, but
Nice.
I love it.
Sucks.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Well,
Should have another burger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they stack, so...
Just like a delicious Dave's double.
Just like a delicious Dave's double.
Stop doing this.
it
They're
has
not
double
paying
the
for this.
cheese.
No spawn.
They're not gonna ever
They
pay
have
for
2
this.
slices of cheese, so the Dave's, again, I got it as a single, a classic single, but as the double, there is a slice of cheese for each of the burgers. I thought that was interesting.
That seems right to me. So did you,
Now, is it cheese or is it cheese, like American cheese?
I'm
Wendy's
going with
uses
American
real cheese.
It's real cheese, you know.
American cheese is not real cheese.
American cheese is a patriotic product, and I will not have you besmirch it.
Everyone has to eat
It's
cheese
rubber.
because we have too much cheese in the underground cheese bunkers.
Okay, and it's not Velveeta, so I'm going with cheese.
It's essentially the same as Velveeta, but okay.
I love Velveeta. I was thinking today about how much I love Velveeta. I'll be real.
Oh, and I will mention also that the burgers, they never cut corners. They were square patties.
Very nice.
Very impressive. Pedro, would you like to tell us about last week?
Yeah. So, last week, we got to see you guys. So, you had found that there was this trail leading into the woods after dealing with a Fresh and Frosty, which is somebody who has been turned into this freeze-based monstrosity, or at least that's what the Inquisition is telling you. After following a trail through the woods, you came across a cabin, which I should also mention you knew was down that way because there was one remaining Inquisition knight that came out of the woods holding another of his companions' arms that was dripping satiation, a trail that you were able to follow back to this cabin, where the Inquisition knights that followed you went off to go look at some kind of circle-y stone thing in the ground. You guys never really looked into that. While you guys went to look at the house that seemed to be blown out from the inside, the area was cold and covered in a light kind of snow and freeze all around you. Elados, you were the first one to go in.
And everything worked out perfectly, and I'm totally fine.
It worked perfectly for the enemy, I gotta say. So this fresh and frosty creature came out, hit you, and a battle ensued, which ended with all of you defeating the Fresh and Frosty. And then there was some tense moments in deciding how to kind of handle going forward, because the Inquisitor Knights told you that you need to burn this house, and not all of you were in agreement. Also, not all of you were in agreement on how the Inquisition handles people who have been corrupted by the freeze.
And I am not in agreement that agreeance is actually a word.
Agreement is not a word? Is it not a word?
I'm not sure, is it?
Oh, is it?
I just wanted to break the flow up by making you second guess yourself.
I don't know.
Agreement. We are in agreement. No.
You are in agreement?
I think we just got to stick with agreement.
Yeah.
It's agreement now, from now on.
Okay, well, you are all in agreement because I will never forget John's word. So tensions were there, and you all went back to the horses that the knights brought, at which point the knights that were with you hopped on their horses, and you all began to head back to the town, or to the city of Freshtovia, to meet with the queen, because as the knights have told you, this is above their kind of level, and that they seemed to not believe that you all were the heroes of legend, but maybe there is some belief now after seeing how you handled this creature. That's a way of looking at it, yes. You guys did technically handle it.
And I made fast friends with the Inquisitors, I think.
You
Yeah, because
did.
you helped them burn the cabin.
It was beautiful.
Like an absolute piece of shit.
Turncoat.
And
Gorgeous.
we are heading back, and the last thing they said is, okay, but first you all are going to have to meet with the Sergeant Pepper.
The leader
I
of the
forgot!
Inquisition. The leader of the Inquisitors.
Yes, the head of the Inquisitors.
And a side note that you had mentioned, the Inquisitors ended up telling Jules, so the other three of us don't know, that in that copse of trees, they had seen some weird words. Yo, Ki, Air, and Ro.
Yes, that is accurate. They found some strange words carved on the stone, and that was all that you figured out from that.
But it's because Jules hasn't really mentioned it yet. So.
Yes.
It's best if all of you aren't aware of that, I think. It'll just distract you, you know.
Betrayal. This early.
Betrayal, intrigue. It's all there. Okay, so we come back in as you all begin walking down the Queen's Roads.
Actually, I think we were given horses.
No.
No.
They have
were.
horses.
Yeah,
They have
They
horses.
have
Oh,
horses.
I have 5 horses, though.
In your pocket?
Yeah.
Excellent. Then I guess you guys have 5 pocket horses.
Pocket horses.
I didn't know we could just lie.
You should try it, man.
You're lying.
No.
Okay, yeah, and, Forrest is breezing past. Does anybody want to talk on the road? The Inquisitor Knights are now ahead of you. They will, every once in a while, kind of look back to make sure you're following, but they seem to have kind of eased a bit.
Because they've realized that we are following.
Yes.
I'm still schlepping the guy that got iced or whatever.
Yes, so they would, well, I don't know if you'd be schlepping them. They
I
would
feel like I
offer
picked him
him,
up.
you did, but they would offer him a place on the horse.
Oh, okay,
so-
that's fine. I'm not gonna,
Ooh, actually, you know what? They wouldn't, because he's tainted. You're right. You are schlepping him.
I continue to schlep.
Yes, so you're holding him. He is quite heavy. Now, as you guys are
very
getting
strong.
to the gates, you're starting to feel pretty hungry. You guys haven't eaten in some time. You've been frozen, you've been told, for 50 years. So Your tummies are a little empty at this point.
Do I have a 50-year hunger or more like a normal hunger?
You have a normal hunger.
Normal hunger.
A 50-year hunger, I think, is just you're dead.
That is
Hook.
technically correct, yes. Okay.
So what do you guys think about this? Sergeant Pepper? I mean, these Inquisitors are pretty steadfast in their, ridiculousness at this point. What do you think about this Sergeant Pepper as a leader? I mean, are we going to be able to talk to him?
Never heard of him.
Well, I haven't heard of him either, but...
We do not know this man.
I once knew a very promising young lad by the name of Pepper.
You've spoken of him.
Yeah. No, we were very close. It would only make sense that he's come to some place of power. He was always good at interacting with the guards.
If it's 50 years later, how old was this boy?
He's like 10-ish.
So he would be a senior
A
citizen
seasoned.
of Wendy's Vale.
And in the way of Dave, of course, he would be eligible for the discount.
Yes, this is how we say this.
Yeah, he's a discounted member of society, which is the most honorable status.
And you all know that in Freshtovia, some of the values that you had were that children were taken care of, for the most part, as best they could. So,
Well, they had jobs.
they had jobs.
They actually
yeah.
had something to do.
You know.
I mean, the Tater clan worked that way.
Yeah, and there were orphanages that you all had maybe gone to, or to volunteer. Barry,
Oh, okay.
You were heroes of Freshtovia. You could have went there and just
So
been
we would
"Woo."
bring children, orphans that we found in the woods, and
Take them on adventures. Give them a sword.
where they would work. Boy, this is sounding more and more like a Charles Dickens book.
Please, sir.
Dave was very adamant about helping the children.
Child labor?
Yes, helping the children.
Right.
Yes.
Everyone shall work. There will not be any unemployment.
0% unemployment.
To hell with those
That
kids.
makes sense.
He had a job. Okay.
Well,
Well,
if this
then-
is the same Pepper, then I've got a good in.
Now, when you say promising, what did you see in the young lad? I mean, obviously he was working at that point.
Yeah, a great work ethic. He could handle. He handled, what's the word I'm looking for? When things are hard, when things are difficult for you in your life. There's a word for this.
Bad.
Monumental tasks.
Trouble.
Struggle, stress, hardship. He handled hardship well. What I'm trying to say is this guy's parents, he had a high resilience. This guy's parents died in a collapse in the salt mines, and he always had a smile on his face.
Wow.
Right there, that speaks to leadership potential to me.
Or is that he is hiding his true feelings?
No,
Which in a way
I
does
couldn't imagine
lead
that.
to leadership potential.
Emotionality gets us nowhere.
This is true. This
This
true.
is not true.
We're keeping up with the Inquisitors.
Yes. So after some time on the road, and you see where Freshtovia is in the distance, firelight and all that coming from the city. And as you're getting closer, it is starting to become morning. The sun is beginning to rise. You guys are maybe about 2 miles, 3 miles out. You've been passing by, at this point, farmland. And you'll notice that, even at this time, there are people out working the fields, young, old, children, all out there, tending crops and whatnot. And as you're cruising along the road, seeing all of this, Elados, getting closer to the city, all of you actually can feel kind of the freshness of the city radiating off the walls. You've noticed that the walls have expanded. They definitely are bigger. The city, you can see some taller buildings. You, though, the closer you get, Elados, start to get kind of a strange feeling kind of in the center of your body.
Can I tell what this is?
Yeah, it's like a cold feeling. And you, as you're, walking along, you begin to kind of drift a little bit. Feel like you're continuing on. You are transported you believe in your mind. Oh my god. You are transported. You believe to some kind of realm in your mind or something, but you're now standing in an open area that all the way to the horizons you see like a cola ocean that's just flat and shiny and bubbly.
It's a flat cola ocean?
Mm-hmm.
I believe you mean not that it's lost its carbonation?
Yes.
It has lost its carbonation?
No.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that's where I went.
Lost
Yeah, I'm
its
sorry, that's where I
It
went.
has not lost its
There's
carbonation.
bubbles, but it's like, level. It's not bubbling over. Anywho.
And he's seeing that in the distance?
Or I'm feeling as if I am there.
You're standing there, yeah.
Oh.
You're feeling
you
as
feel
if
like
you're there.
standing there.
Okay.
And then as you look around, you then in front of you see the cola start to kind of freeze and form as if something is walking towards you and building. And it's this kind of like ice version of you.
Oh.
And you'll see it'll walk up to you, and you get this sense that it looks like you, but it's not you, it's something else. And when it gets close, it will, raise its hand out, and as it's holding it out, you will see something come out of its palm.
Okay.
And it looks like a shifting, kind of swirling flurry of ice, or like a creamy ice.
Okay.
And it's just kind of floating there. And then as the ice U turns around and looks into the distance, the same way you would be going as you were walking, you now see that there's this flaming beacon. And radiating towards you is this energy of freshness. And as it hits the ice U, it begins to melt. And it looks at you, holding out this, orb. And then you get the sense of somebody kind of talking to you vaguely and whisperly in your head. Don't bring me to the queen. Hide me. Come back for me.
How do I leave you here? How do I go and see her without taking you in?
Find a way to hide me.
Oh, okay. And I'll reach out and try to grab his hand.
Now, is Elados doing this all in his head?
Mm-hmm. You guys don't
so we
notice
don't see
anything.
anything. All right.
And as you go to reach out, you will see that the swirly mass will go into your palm, and you can kind of see it bouncing up and down, and you feel as if it can move. And then you'll look at yourself at the ice form, and it's starting to melt further, and it says, "We will be connected. Hide me." And then you'll flash back, and you're back walking down the road, and you're looking at your hand, and you see just for a moment the kind of tip of the swirl before it goes back into your hand.
Okay.
And you feel that cold feeling you had a moment ago, not in the center body, but now it's in your hand, kind of in your palm.
Okay. I'm going to try to very sneakily speak to my partners, like my companions here. Cranston, I am getting a bad feeling about me going to the city.
Wendy's?
Yes.
But the queen has nothing but good for all of us. What brings on this fear?
Keep your voice down, please.
I thought I was whispering.
I'll look over towards Jules. I am feeling this coldness within me again, and it is telling me not to be near the queen.
For you not to go to the queen?
Yes.
Well, I mean, if you're that certain. Lady Holsteena, what do you think of this?
If it is as they say, and we four have been missing for 50 years, and you don't return with us, that will look stranger. What, are you afraid that she'll uncover it?
Yes. if there is an inquisition, I am certain to be killed. No?
I remember I'm holding a man, and I look at his face. Is he conscious?
So looking down, he seems to be kind of sleeping in your arms. He's nuzzled up a little bit. You've been swaying as you're rocking. He's significantly smaller than you.
Oh, okay.
So he's
This
just
is my
kind of
baby knight.
yeah. He's just your baby now.
Cutest,
Yeah, he's
Okay.
the cutest little Inquisitor knight you've seen yet.
Just hear like baby music when we look at him.
Yeah.
And he's sleeping.
Yeah, you think he's sleeping just by looking at him.
Were the thing that you think to be happening to happen in the presence of the queen, that would be bad.
Yes.
So far, has this thing occurred without your permission?
Control?
So I didn't want to say this, but I was just hallucinating quite a bit. Reminds me of that time that we all went to the French Fry Forest and, ate those mushrooms and whatnot. But this was me looking at...
Was I there? I mean...
We agreed not to speak of it.
I saw a frozen version of myself telling me not to go.
Frozen.
Yes.
Like of the freeze.
Like the beast we fought.
Oh, no.
No,
Were
not
you
quite.
tainted?
No, I'm not tainted of the frost. No, I study the frost. But I am feeling that this is not a good place for me right now.
Why don't we see, once we meet Sergeant Pepper, how that goes? And if you feel uncomfortable there, mayhaps we can create a reason to have you be waylaid before going before the Queen.
Something else to think of is if you were to be affected by our time in the ice, it could be trickery. Your vision doesn't have to be true. I mean, if any remains of the ice gesture lies within you, we have to consider that.
I will take this all in consideration, and when we meet the sergeant, I will, I suppose, decide then.
Excellent. The clippy clops of horses continue on the road, and you will come to the large gates of Freshtovia. These gates are now, though they were once wooden gates, they seem to be either banded more completely or are now made out of a stronger metal. And as the knights come up, there are probably about a dozen knights you can see on the ground and, spread out on the ground and up at the top of the walls, all with, different weaponry.
Are the gates closed?
Yes, the gates are closed.
So they are standing, barring our way in as we come there. How are they reacting to the Inquisitors that are ahead of us?
Yes, so as the Inquisitors come up, several will detach from the gate and meet them, and you all are 5 to 10 feet behind them. So you'll hear, Inquisitor Ryan. Inquisitor
Your
Ryan.
name was Ryan this entire time?
The one that has been talking that nobody asked his name looks back and says, "Yes, my name is Ryan."
It's a ridiculous name.
Ryan the
This is
Inquisitor.
insane.
I don't know why everybody says that every time I tell them that.
There are normal names. Elados, Holsteena,
Cranston.
Fucking hate
Yes,
Cranston.
Cranston, thank you.
Jules.
Pepper.
Pepper.
Fucking hate my parents. Anywho, that's what I say. Anywho, these jabronis, I found them along the road. You nailed it.
I love the idea that he says that.
He does say that. I found them, on the road near the Heroes Temple. They claim to be the heroes of legend.
We are the heroes of legend.
We are the four returned.
So the one that he's talking
Wendy's
to
Knights.
looks.
Yes, all of us. Wendy's Knights.
You see him kind of peek past the horse and look at all of you. And he squints and he'll walk past the guy and come up and just kind of stare at all of you. Well, Inquisitor Ryan, I mean, they do look much like the statues, but I assume that you brought them to meet with the Queen. Yeah, I brought them to meet with Queen Wendy.
We've no time for this faffle. We need a healer.
This is true. That man is dying. He is your man.
And so then he's gonna look into your hands, realizing that there's one of his men.
Tiny baby.
His tiny baby who's now just in your hands physically. As you show
He
your
appears
tiny
to be
baby.
shrinking.
Size of a kitten.
That's the effect from the freeze. Everything just kind of like you're
getting
continuously
smaller.
getting smaller.
Soon I'll be in a thimble.
Yes. So he looks, and he looks at the wounds, sees the kind of bluing scar amongst all the satiation that is crusted over upon this man.
All the hunger that is leaking out of him.
He pulls out his sword and says, "That man has been infected by the freeze. Why is he here with you?" And he looks back, "Inquisitor Ryan, why is this man not killed and burnt?"
Do not fuck this up, Ryan.
Yeah, so Ryan will hop down and go over real close, and you're gonna see them kind of whisper. Anybody who wants to see if they can hear, can roll.
What do we
What
roll?
are we rolling?
You will be rolling. That's a great question, Barry. You're gonna be rolling intelligence. It's gonna be an intelligence check.
16.
I got a 6.
Could I argue for a grace check to like gracefully extend my ear? I'll roll intelligence.
You're gonna roll intelligence.
I got a 16.
Okay.
I said I got an 8.
Okay, so you two, Holsteena and Cranston, will hear, while Elados and Jules, you will not.
I am checking my phone.
Yes, you're checking your phone. You don't have any service.
Shit.
And you're going to hear,
Bill hasn't been paid for 50 years. I mean, come on.
look, Inquisitor Jebediah, we can't... I know, he should be dead, but look at them. They look like the heroes. What if they are? They said not. They said they want to bring this man before the Queen. You're going to bring the freeze before her? It will he'll burn to ash before, or he'll burn to hunger. Anyway, he'll famish before he even gets close. And so I say, I know, but they asked and they stopped a fresh and frosty.
I'd like to have an eyeball conversation with Cranston. Should we just move through these people?
I don't think that staying here is helping us at all. I'm not certain if meeting the sergeant is going to be that important. We need to get to Wendy. We need to let her know what we've found and the evil that we've vanquished, and to ask her why these knights are doing what they're doing.
The one thing that Queen Wendy's knights were always good at was having eyeball conversation. That was all given in just a look.
It's true, it was.
It was very good.
Loudly, without my eyeballs, I'm going to
good at
announce.
this.
Take us to Pepper or going to the Queen.
And so they'll both kind of jump. Yes. Okay. And Ryan's looking at him. He's like,
Now!
okay. Yes. To the sergeant. All right. Inquisitor Ryan, you take your men. They've earned their rest. Debrief with so and so. He literally just kind of waves it off. Just go debrief. All right. If you four will follow me.
Absolutely. Finally, we're getting somewhere.
Be careful with him. If he starts changing, yes, he's pointing to your hands as you're holding your single hand, as you can barely see the small knife,
Tiny little diminutive knife.
on your fingertip. He says if he starts changing or anything, you will need to finish this. Okay, and you've sniffed him up. So he will then wave at several up on the ramparts, and you're gonna hear chains being pulled or some kind of mechanism going, and this iron door is gonna start to.
Is that the way the old wood door used to go?
No, the old wood door was much more open, and it really just kind of opened outwards. This one now kind of goes into the ground.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is intense.
It's beautiful. It's more in keeping with the majesty of Wendy. This symbolizes her strength, which I always thought was understated in the previous design.
Which, a good point, I didn't mention that on the gate is this, like, carved, I think motif is the right word, but embossment, whatever. This carving of Queen Wendy. However, she's much more vibrant, I guess would be the word, like holding up a large spatula sword, one that you all...
What's a sword?
What is
You're
this?
right,
You
actually.
mean like knife? Is that the word you're trying to say?
Yes,
Is it,
yes,
is
a
it
large...
just me, or did she get hotter?
Did she get hotter, Pedro? I'm
She
dating
did, sorry,
Dave.
her great knife. That's what she has, her great knife. Yes. Yes, she did get hotter.
Can we get a
fine.
D10 roll? How much hotter she got?
Yes.
So,
Oh.
2 hotter. So, 20...
Technically.
Well, there goes all of my dice. That's fine.
Classic Pedro.
Yeah.
Oh, look at my hands are so slippery.
Okay, yeah, so she 20% hotter.
Technically, I think so.
Yes, Lombard.
My friends, Dave always says if you're at Wendy's, you've chosen wisely. I'm concerned.
About the fact that she got hot?
What we are stepping into, this is not the Wendy that we worked for. This is not the Wendy that sent us on the quest. This is not the Wendy that was endeavoring to save all of Freshtovia.
Cranston, hopefully nobody overhears this.
Again, I'm whispering.
You sound.
Your whisper is so loud.
This is basically shouting.
And the other thing is you guys kind of have to shout because this is taking about 5 minutes and it's grinding like metal on stone. It's loud and taking forever.
Positively treasonous, Cranston!
If Wendy has needed to strengthen the battlements and increase the strictness with which she governs, then it can only be the right decision. It just means the world has gotten darker.
I guess I understand. Do what tastes right. Dave says that as well.
Always.
It's awesome. So now you see dust come out.
They have not
Like
opened
it's
this in a
so
long
many-
time.
Yeah, it's efficient.
Mighty gate.
And on the other side, in the wall, you see massive chains kind of going about.
There's 300 people working to open it.
The whole
There's a
division.
giant weird deadbolt that takes 4 people to open.
They have to hop up and grab one side.
Yes. So, now that we've all had a good laugh at that because it's hilarious. That's right. Nailed it. Okay. Now you all will continue along into the town. As you're going through, what you're noticing is coming from outside in, the town of Freshtovia actually looks better than how you remember it.
Can
It
we
looks
see the Sawsome Fountain in front of us? Is it still there at least?
It is, yes.
Yeah,
So-
that thing we know about.
Yes,
It's awesome.
we are all
Sauce
familiar
what?
with this.
Yes, the Sawsome Fountain is still there.
Sawsome what?
Sawsome Fountain?
Sawsome fountain.
Yeah.
Fountain.
Where?
How many?
Yeah, how many fountains did you see?
There is but one.
There's but one Sawsome Fountain. So as you travel over the wonderful Biggie Bridge, leading over this river that flows beneath, which, looking at the river, it's maybe a little bit more grimy than you remember, but the town is still looking nicer and more well kept. You see actually people, Freshtovians milling about. The people that are milling about in kind of having fun, you're going to see people... Actually, in the morning, sir. At this time, who you're seeing milling about the town are people that are starting their day, cooks and chefs going to work to prep for the day, to provide meals for the city, cleaners going around, bringing fresh linens and napkins to all of the restaurants, which are all Wendy's in some manner or another.
Choose fresh, citizens.
Yes.
Hot and juicy.
You do actually notice more Wendy's, like Wendy's actual restaurants here.
Are we seeing giant?
Not just the restaurant and inn, but actual small
Like food areas.
auxiliary
Yes.
areas. Okay.
We're seeing giant
Annexes.
shells of Wendy that perhaps say something.
So you do
Obey.
No, you do
All must be
see
fresh.
banners of Wendy, and they're very regal and I would say angelic. So you see Wendy on these banners, wafting in the wind, wearing this long, I'm gonna say this long robe with battle vestments on. It's the classic, you remember the blue and white stripes, the classic red pigtails. However, you see that the pigtails actually have multiple pigtails kind of entwined together, so they've gotten actually bigger.
Wow.
The red in the hair is even more vibrant in the banner than you remember even, and you'll see different sayings, always fresh, never frozen.
Yes. Exactly.
Quality is our recipe. All manner of different things. Yes.
Now-
The other thing I should mention that you see is you start to see, and also you smell something different, I just remembered. In your time, Wendy's, no matter what time of day it was burgers, it was fries, it was all of that. You start smelling something different, a mixture of sweetness and kind of like a delicious bitterness in the air almost. It's hard to describe. Bold, robust, wafting out of these restaurants. And you start to see people filing in. They don't look like restaurateurs. They have bags along their sides. And you see them go in. And you see them putting bags inside, and this is as you're walking through. And then coming out and seeming to run different places. Some hop on horses and kind of ride off.
With bags or without bags?
With bags. Going off in different directions.
Wow, okay.
We still have an escort?
Yes.
Nope. We just have the one.
Yes. No. So he followed in, and as he came in, I should have mentioned, thank you very, that several more filed in alongside of you. So you have, kind of guards around you. And most of them are looking at you, Holsteena. However, they're not really looking at you in particular. And cruising further, you do come across the Sawsum Fountain. And it seems to be in repair. You'll see people coming up, people with those bags even coming up, dipping canisters that they then cork and put into their bags before running off into different directions. You remember people used to flock to this and come and dip their food in there, drink of the sauces, play in the sauces, all manner of things. Sauce related.
Is it somehow maintaining its height, or is it nearly empty and the fountain is barely a dribble?
It's flowing even more than you remember. And then one thing familiar, one thing new. To your left, you see towering over the statue still of Dave.
Off to the west of the Sawsum Fountain?
Trying to tell you one moment, Barry.
Give him one fucking moment. Give this guy a moment.
Seriously.
But what did you see?
Over to the west, you will see the giant statue of Dave towering over the city, golden and shining in the morning light. As you remember it, although maybe a little bit more, I don't want to say unkempt, but you'll see some kind of
tarnishing?
Yeah, a little bit.
The statue has been tarnished?
Yes, just a little bit, mostly at the top of it, the higher points. And then over to the east, you will see 4 new statues.
What?
Kind of all in a circular pattern.
East of the Sawsum Fountain.
Yes.
All right.
God,
awesome.
one more person says east, I'm gonna start killing myself.
And you notice 4 faces towering over the buildings that are familiar to you. And that is your faces.
Oh.
That's more like
Are
it.
they tarnished?
up near the... you know what? No, not as much. They are a little bit more well-kept, but you're not sure if that's from the work or if they were just newer.
I'd like to speak to, what's this guy's name again? Like Kevin or Kyle?
No, the guy in front of you is
Ryan has
Jebediah.
left.
Remember, Ryan and the crew left already.
Oh, we got
They
a new
went to
guy
go
named
clean up.
Yes.
We have a new...
Inquisitor Jebediah, yes.
Inquisitor
A
Jebediah.
much more normal name.
Ah, yeah. I'd like to ask him some questions, if that's all right.
That's fine, you may. You'll also all notice that as you're walking through, there are people that are walking by who kind of glance at you and then will look up at the statues and then keep walking by but look kind of confused.
I want to remind you is that if you make a charm roll near me, you have a +1.
Anybody that comes up and gets close enough, I will greet them with the standard greeting. Fresh, never frozen, citizen.
I want to look for, like, a building that has a sign outside that matches the inquisitorial
Seal?
seal.
You're looking for a building that has that?
So,
Okay. So, just to go to you, Barry, as you say that, people will respond kind of, they look at you like they recognize what you're saying, but like it's kind of like something they heard in their childhood, maybe.
50 years ago.
Yeah. And they'll say, yes, freshness be upon you, and then they will move forward.
They've changed the response.
lots has changed.
Okay, and then so you're looking forward. So yes, as
So it's taking too long, and I'd like to move ahead.
Yeah, so you'll take a turn, and ahead you will see what looks like a barracks within the city that has the Inquisitorial seal upon it.
Is it anywhere near the statues of the four?
And what cardinal direction is it from the statue of death?
So yes, it actually is going towards the statue of the four. You think you're probably about 2 blocks to the west of the statues.
And is the barber/surgeon near there also? What's medieval, right?
Yeah.
The bloodletting.
Dentist.
No.
like
Yeah,
that
actually,
noise.
yeah, they would have a medic bay, but I mean, it's So you see an Inquisitorial like signet with like a plus near it.
In this barrack, is this something that like I would have lived in when I was like squiring?
Yes, it's something that you do recognize, like, oh, this is, this, you remember this being over here, but it's a little bit more built up, the motifs of it all are a little bit different.
Do I think that this guy is leading us there?
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
okay, I move ahead of him
Okay.
and to the medic area.
Okay. So, Inquisitor Jebediah will look at you as you're starting to go away and will point to several men and then point to you, and they will follow. And as they all see, they'll all grab their, like, swords as they see the tiny man in your hand. And Inquisitor Jebediah will say, no, that man's to be imprisoned until they can meet in front of Queen Wendy.
You do not mean imprisoned. You mean brought to the medic and fed nuggets until he is hale and healthy, yes?
The
That is what you meant, am I correct?
Nuggets
Inquisitor Jebediah?
Nuggets will not heal the freeze. This man needs to be judged before we can do any more, before we can give supplies to the dying, to the unsavable.
Our host here has been, and his fellows, have been reasonable enough to spare this man's life on our word. I think that it's important that we don't overreach.
I kick open the door.
As you kick open the door, you are gonna hear, the hub of like a couple dozen Inquisitor knights coming up behind, like kind of behind you and from, around, looking to Jebediah to kind of figure out what's going on. He's like, no, hold, they need to meet with Queen Wendy. They are honored guests. And you're gonna start seeing these people who are coming up and getting close to you. They are starting to look at your faces.
Where's the healer?
And they all look to Jebediah, and he says, he is inside there, where you've just kicked open the door to. That hinge is gonna have to be replaced.
Kick it open again. No, I'm just kidding. I move into that room.
And so the medic that's behind the table that has, let's see, there's one table that has somebody, bleeding satiation out of them as he's working on them to sew them up. There's a scream now that the door's open as he's working to sew up this to make the man hungry. No, satiated.
Less hungry, yes.
Less hungry.
Good,
Thank
good,
you.
good.
Feed him needles.
The stitches are spaghetti.
Yes. He'll whip
Mamma
around
mia.
this like lithe man with two knives in his hand, a knife and a fork in his hand, satiation dripping on them. They look sterile enough. He says,
I dipped them in ranch.
he's got a napkin face mask on and one white apron
World building, I love it, man.
and a chef hat.
Is this doctor going to eat that man?
And he says, what do we seem to have here? Another wounded soldier. Oh my god, that person's infected with the freeze! And he's looking around and he goes and picks up a lantern with fire in it. I don't know, a lamp. And he's like holding a knife in one hand and a lamp in the other. He says, we need to burn that man. He's infected with the freeze.
I
I-
will slide forward. You shall not.
The outside, you guys are now
going
surrounded
really
by
good.
knights. Several have peeled off and are gone to the actual barracks now. And Jebediah's out there just like trying to tell everybody to hold. It's fine. And you'll hear murmurs of like, but there's freeze within the walls.
I strike the same pose that my statue has, and
Now-
stare off wistfully into the distance.
And as this is happening, you are getting closer to the actual like castle where Wendy at least was. And as you're looking up, your guessing still is because there is coming from where the Queen's royal chamber, the room, the grand hall, whatever, the great hall, there's like a radiating freshness and hotness coming from it. And you feel that thing at the center of you, that cold, go from the center and start kind of moving in your body and coming closer, and like whatever body part is farther away from it, it kind of moves to. Maybe your back is to it, so it comes to your hand. And you're getting that sense that you're hearing that voice again, you must hide me.
I scoot away from the castle by 2 feet.
Feels a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you doing now, Holsteena?
Lay him on the table.
And he says, I can't fix this.
What have you tried?
What do you mean, what have we tried?
What have you tried? Summarize.
I haven't tried anything. You mean,
Who
what?
has?
That's,
Why are you so certain that he is lost to us? He's Wendy's kind of people.
that, and he looks down and says, this man's been infected by the freeze. He is tainted. There's no going back. The Queen is decreed. It's in all of our texts, our healing text. I think they're, and he's gonna look and see around and see the Inquisitors outside. He says, he looks a little nervous and says, no, there's no barbers out here that would dare try to cure the freeze. And he's looking at you now with kind of like wide eyes.
Do you mean to say that nothing has been tried?
And he'll see that Inquisitor Jebediah is going to kind of step in. He's going to step past you. If you guys do anything, let me know. But he steps in and says, Brian... he says, Barbara Brian,
Really?
thank you. Barbara Brian, I know that you are busy, and he'll see the man on the table who's still screaming, by the way, a little bit, like, I'm so hungry. And he says, we have agreed that this man, this Inquisitor, will not be burnt, as is tradition, until meeting with Queen Wendy.
At least try to satiate the man. You have nuggets. I see them in the fridge.
So, Barbara Bryan will look look to the Inquisitor Jebediah like, I'm not going to be the one to decide that. And he's like, what do I do? And Jebediah will look back at everybody kind of staring in. A lot of them are staring at you guys in particular outside. And he'll walk up to the barber and say, you may give him one. Don't speak of this. This is as a favor they helped us. You understand? He just kind of shakes his head. And he'll look at you and say, I'll give the man one nugget.
Elados, join us.
When I hear that, I go inside.
As you start moving, several swords are out at this point because they don't really know what to do. So they'll not poke at you, but kind of motion, and then Jebediah will say, no, let him pass.
There is a statue over there. Who the fuck do you think we are?
We will have the queen tell us who you are.
Good.
I like to pull open the shirt to see the wound better.
Okay, yeah. So cutting open the shirt, you see that there is a rend around the outside edges. There are crystallized blood, and the skin has turned a kind of blue tint.
Does it look bigger than when we first saw it?
Yeah, it does look a little bit bigger, yeah. Not necessarily like, it's hard, I'm not saying that like it's black or like he's like succumbing or being necrotized or anything like that. It looks like the blue is kind of like shifting through, so he's freezing.
Did we have a way to treat this in the past?
So, thinking back, that's my back.
I like it.
Thank you. That's, yes.
Can't do that one.
Yeah, I was about to do that one, and then I was like, oh, no, I probably should do something different.
Yeah, because that noise is going to get copyrighted.
That's right.
It's actually a song, a famous song.
See? You remember back, were we successful? You remember that in your studies with this, you were working on a way of reversing it. You weren't having much success. You tried all manner of freshness related things, mostly involving heat, burning work, hot water, hot baths. But generally when you were using heat, most of the people, and you guys were humane about it. These were volunteers who you were helping, but a lot of times when you would try the heat of things, they would get a little bit worse. So you never came across, although you all felt that you were nigh on a breakthrough.
This man, the first thing that we should do is give him a warm ketchup packet IV.
You heard the man, Barber Brian.
Yes, that's my name, Barber Brian.
And then give him a nugget. This man needs to be satiated.
All right, so he'll go over
At least
to
end his suffering.
His cabinet and pull out a ketchup packet IV along with a straw needle.
We're going to give him a stroke.
Yes. And
Ketchup in his blood. They're both red.
it's
warm.
Yeah,
well,
they're
no,
both red.
it's thinned out. It's like a saline solution.
Oh, with vinegar.
Yes, with vinegar. It's spicy like that. It invigorates you.
All right, so we have to come at this scientifically.
And so he stabs it into his arm. Thank you, Barry. Wow.
You can try to be a little bit careful. Oh shit!
And taps the bag, make sure there's no air after it's stabbed into him, and then it starts to go into his system. He says, "I don't know what that's gonna necessarily do, but and then he takes the chicken nugget.
You're going to heat it, hot and juicy. Of course.
They're always hot. He pulled it out of a little heated.
Oh, I thought he was pulling it out of the refrigerator.
No. You'll notice that all the
warming pans.
all the food-based objects in here are all under some form of over some form of heat, a hot plate or something. It's all being kept
Never a heat lamp.
warm. No.
Never a heat lamp.
And so he'll go over, get a warm, and he'll kind of pat it around. It's hot.
I've never grabbed a chicken nugget and had to be like, ooh, it's too hot.
You've never taken one directly out of the grill or the grease.
A valid point.
I have an idea.
Ooh, what is your idea?
Cranston, hold him down.
Oh, shit.
Hold this man. I will do that.
And then I want to move
shall
so that
lay
I'm
hands
kind of
upon
like hiding Elados and myself from like other eyes.
As you're starting to do that, Inquisitor Jebediah, after the straw needle cut was stabbed in, he's turned away a little bit.
Okay.
And he goes to the outside and he points at those of you outside and tells you, "Come in."
I believe I'm the only one still outside.
Excellent. He points to you and says, "Come in."
Cool, I want to go. I like this guy. He's great, clearly. Jebediah.
Yeah.
Jebediah?
Yeah, Jebediah.
Jebediah.
And then he will close the door, and after nodding outside, you don't know what he nodded. Yeah, you don't know what he nodded. Anywho, closing the door, what are you doing?
I want to quietly say, if he doesn't work, maybe the cold will help. And then I want to put it so our backs are to everybody else.
Oh, okay.
You want me to use
Quickly.
the cold on this map?
It's worth a try.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best.
Brian,
to...
that nugget.
So Brian comes over. "Yes, I got it," and he has it in little tongs. And he comes over and pulls out a napkin from his pocket.
Burning hot. The tongs are melting. This nugget is so hot.
And he comes over after putting on like a glove, actually, and he goes over and uses another pair of tongs to open the soldier's mouth and slowly place, while sweating profusely, the other nugget into his mouth.
Teeth melt.
And he uses the tong to help him kind of chew
horrible.
until the man wakes up and is like, hot and fresh. And he eats
Yes, my friend. Do what tastes right.
it. Okay.
And as the people clear away, I will ask Lady Knight Holsteena exactly how she wants me to do this.
I think right over the wound, at the source.
I trust you. I will put my hands over his wound.
Give me an intelligence check.
You're like, I trust you to be a fucking idiot.
Could it be an Arcana check?
Yes, actually, on Arcana check. Thank you.
Are we within 10 feet of one another?
Yes.
You have advantage on skill rolls.
Yes. That is going to be a 23.
Okay.
And the nat 1. So let's go with the 23.
Very nice. So, as you're thinking about this, something does occur to you. Your order, though, the Order of the Frosty, never considered using cold against this. You had never heard anybody kind of conjecture. Do you think you would have conjectured any of that?
I don't believe
Yeah.
so, but I did just see the cold that I use hurt the other cold. So,
Yeah.
perhaps.
So,
He's going to die anyway. Fuck him.
Yeah.
yeah. So as you go over, now the question is this, is as you're kind of looking around, Jebediah and Brian are, well, Jebediah is kind of like half watching, but Brian is right there.
And if I'm understanding correctly, they are using my large body within the Baconator armor to be kind of
Yeah, we're
shield
trying
for
to
what's
shield
happening.
his hands.
Ah, okay. So you're shielding.
We're placing ourselves so our...
And I don't
Okay.
know that this is going on because I would never accept this. It's fresh, never frozen. But
And I'm having
my
a
focus is on
conversation.
Brian because Brian is taking a long time to get this nugget in his mouth.
The nugget's in. The
Right,
chicken
it is
melted.
now, but I'm
You
saying
are
this is my
obsessed with
focus.
this goddamn nugget. I've had enough of it.
Is the nugget coming from the east or the west?
Okay. So. All right, so what are you doing? So as you kind of are imagining this, you do feel that cold sensation kind of moving about, and you get the sense that you could do something.
The way that I've been feeling the cold kind of move around my body, I'm going to focus it into my hands, place my hands over the wound, and I'm gonna try not to blast the shit out of him. But
Clear! So you are trying to pump cold into this person to see what effect it will have.
Into
Yes,
the wound,
into
correct?
the wound.
Okay.
Yes, a controlled amount of cold into the wound.
Okay, excellent. As you do, you feel that cold go into your hand, and as your hand hovers over the wound, you feel now this kind of connection to the cold within this person. You're feeling the freeze of it. The best guess is you're feeling how cold this person is. Now, the question is, you start to pump the cold. and it's starting off at just freezing and going, or leading towards freezing. The question is, are you going to blast colder or less cold than this person? Are you pumping a full cold blast into this to where you are trying to freeze? Or how are you using your magic? How are you warping the cold around this person?
I am trying to destroy the cold, and I saw the cold that I use destroy cold earlier, so I'm going to try to go colder.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Do I also have advantage?
Yeah, a skill check.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is a 2 and another 2.
2 and another 2.
6.
So, 6.
Okay.
That's funny.
So,
You kill him. We'll never try that again.
what you do is this. You focus really hard. And you pump cold in, but you don't so much blast cold in this person as you don't really put out as much cold as you would like. Okay. So you actually undershoot it. It kind of sputters a little bit. And you can feel that this thing that's, moving around you does come out a little bit. Like you could, it almost feels like it's going to fall out until you catch it. And what you notice, and now actually what I want you to do is give me an intelligence check, because I want to see if you notice what the effect this is having and how much of an effect you notice.
That is a 17.
Okay. So you see as you pump the cold in, it's not that much, but as you pump that little bit of cold, you can feel the temperature that's much colder in this body start to get a little less cold. Starts to pull off and kind of, start to even out for a moment, but then you lose that connection. You this thing bolts back into you and says, "Hide me before I'm found."
I lean to Lady Knight Holsteena and I say, this is working, but I do not have enough control over this. This is still new.
Is there ice here? Not frozen, but what about like a soda pop?
So when it comes to cold, the coldest thing that Wendy had was the frosty. That was kind of the cold. Everything else was mostly preserved with salts or kind of cooler temperatures like root cellars, things like that, cellars.
But drying.
Yeah, drying, things like that. It was really eat
Hot,
it
not so
fresh or that's kind of it.
We have to get him somewhere colder.
Yes, this is going to work, but I cannot do it here near the castle.
Brian, it does not seem to be working. I think we should apply another. For but a moment, he felt a touch warmer, and then it reverted back.
And so then Brian, now that he has, his tongs are empty, he's going to go ahead and set those down. And he goes to, check the temperature at first and then pulls his hand back. And he says, and he looks at the Inquisitor he's not sure, whether he should. He says, I'm going to have to take your word for it on that. And the Inquisitor's going to sort of say, we should get you to Wendy sooner than he'll turn back. And you'll see he sees the man that's kind of still writhing in the corner. And get you to Queen Wendy. I think we need to get you there. I don't know what you're doing over there still. I think I've given you enough time.
This man may not have much more time. I think we hurry to Queen Wendy. She would have an answer. Dave's wisdom flows through her.
I have things that I must get to really quick the other way, so I'm going to run to that meetings that I have to get to.
You scheduled a meeting 50 years ago?
I
realize
I
blow your cover entirely. Yeah.
And even the Inquisitor is kind of like, when would you have... I was told that you were found?
Not to bring up a sore subject, Elados, but I thought the thruple business was kaput, finished.
Okay, listen, I do not want to talk about this.
This is what it's about?
Perhaps.
Jebediah, there was mention of meeting with a Sergeant Pepper. Is
We're
that
all over
still,
the place.
Is that still on the schedule?
And is he lonely?
And then he'll look at you and actually get a little bit serious on his face. What did you just say?
Is he lonely?
I thought you said you weren't from this place.
What does...
How would you know of
that he is lonely?
the...
This is just, I say things sometimes.
know of his lonely heart?
I believe I have a membership to the club.
This is strange. Yes, we should get you to Sergeant Pepper. And he's going to stare at you as he kind of backs towards the door, curious. And he's going to swing it open.
Listen, after the breakup, I signed up for some things out of a magazine.
Did you sign up for one of those things where you get the 6 albums for a penny, but then if you don't quit in the next 9 weeks, then you
Look,
end up...
it was like this, but for breakups.
I need shackles and a key to the Frosty. The Frosty cistern.
He looks at you and says, "What? Is this the Frosty cistern? There's no Frosty cistern."
Where do the Frosties remain until they're harvested?
He looks at you and says, "There are no Frosties in Freshtovia."
What?
No, I think, if I remember correctly, don't you go south to get them?
In
the past,
they
they've
had
served.
fresh
Do you
Frosties.
go south to get the berry?
Yes,
You
I
go
think
south?
right there in the Frosty Canyon Village.
but-
Isn't that where you're from?
Yes, but they were brought here, and they were fresh.
They were brought here
available.
fresh
But
from the canyon.
Are they not available in town anymore at all?
And he's gonna say, "You need to." I'm very confused. No,
Then the cistern is
you're
empty,
confused.
but the cold property should remain.
No, Frosties aren't consumed. That's something that we heard was from the past.
I'm
but
gonna bang on this table. Shackles, man, now!
it's just, well, we have plenty of those, and he'll pull out some shackles for you.
I don't know. I'm trying to save this guy's life. That's kind of my main focus. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yes,
pick
let's
this
do it.
dude up and go to the cistern. Is that the right word?
Yes,
Yeah, no, you.
Well, a cistern would be a thing.
that is a thing.
Please
So-
tell me there's like a helpful little like door right next to us.
I mean, there's a door, the door that's out of here that you came in.
Just give me like a plot, like
A plot door to the
tunnel.
to the
There is the NPC who's constantly giving us opportunities to move forward that we could just cooperate with.
This is true.
Turncoat.
So, you will hear wooden doors slam open outside, and you'll hear a very gruff voice that says, "Where are these so-called heroes?"
And
And then you're going to hear a boot step on cobblestone, and then something that sounds like stone on stone, or some kind of crystal on stone, something like that. What are you guys doing? The door stands open. You don't see where this came from, but you think it came from the barracks.
This does not scare me.
I am heading towards the cistern, so I'm going towards the sound.
We are trying to save this.
Yeah.
I investigate the sound.
I think we're heading out the front door
Cool.
of the barbershop.
Thank you.
This is where the sound is coming from? No?
Yes.
Okay.
As you exit out, you will see those. Holsteena, I'm guessing you're first because you're kind of spearheading this, yeah? You all walk out and see a man storming over from the barracks. As you look at him, older man, very bulky. What you see that stands out the most is that half of his face, he's got old, salt and pepper hair. Thank you. And you'll see over half of his face are these white crystals that seem to be kind of blended and merged into his face. You'll notice at several of his joints, amidst and kind of popping out in customized places of his biggie armor, are these kind of white crystals. one of his legs from the knees down is actually a kind of crystalline formation that kind of chips as he walks along. You see little sprinkles of white flecks behind him.
Jules, I thought they eradicated Saltfoot. What's happened to this man?
A lot of things have changed in the past. This might simply be a type of ornamentation that I can't imagine somebody choosing to...
My friends, I am very concerned that we are not Wendy's kind of people anymore.
And the last thing...
I have been saying this.
Last thing you notice is that on one side of his armor, you will see, and that's on the right side, you will see the emblem of Wendy and the Inquisition. On the left breastplate, you will notice what looks like a heart that seems to be surrounded, and this is embossed on it, surrounded by jagged crystals pointing inward at the heart.
Disquieting at least.
And he will, clip-clop on his way over. And as he starts coming forward, the kind of 24 Inquisition knights around you will part, leaving you a nice circle staring at this man who's now about 15 feet away before he, stomps down his crystalline leg. And you see what will land on the ground is a great spoon that kind of cracks the ground a little bit. Looks like it was really heavy. And that's his weapon, if you must know.
Is he wearing any kind of rank insignia?
Yes, Sergeant. And so he will look at all of you. And starting with Holsteena, you holding the man, and he'll say, "You there, why are you carrying that freeze infected?" And as he's scanning, he's gonna look at all you, and then Jules, he gets to you. He says, "Why are you holding on to that freeze infected?" And he stops and he stares. And then you're gonna see he pulls out of a pouch on his side some kind of spectacle and puts it on. It only goes onto one eye.
Monocle.
You see. Yeah, it's a monocle. Thank you. Half a spectacle. A spectacle and me trying to get through that. Anywho, staring at you, he'll take 5 feet, step forward, and he'll say, "You there. Why are all of you standing around while this rapscallion remains outside of a cage? And grab that man. He must be put in a cage immediately." What do you do?
Do I recognize him?
So what you recognize, so you start looking, and there's some things that you're like, is that? But what really tells you is the use of term, because rapscallion is exactly what the guards in the salt mines of Knackle would call you as they initiated the romp-around chase trying to capture you. What do you do?
I'm going to step forward and start laughing and walk up to Sergeant Pepper and say, it's been a long time, little Pep. It's so good to see you. And I'm just going to start walking towards him with my arms outstretched.
Okay. As you get close to him, as you get within 5 feet of this, embrace, you will see, and what you notice, and I don't know if the rest of you would pay this much attention to him, but you notice that you all would have think he was shaking, but what you notice as you get close is that he's not shaking, he's actively moving. You see all of his arms and kind of his knees and joints, anywhere that there's joints you see are kind of shifting and moving slightly, like little micro movements, and you'll see little crystal shavings come off. And as you get close for an embrace, you see that he reaches a gauntleted hand out and grabs you right by the solar plexus of your shirt and kind of pulls you in and says, "Looks like it's my turn to apprehend you, criminal." And he comes in and gives you a big old hug.
Oh, yay!
And you'll see as he stops for a moment, holds you. And, as he pulls you back, you're going to see a really salty tear come down and immediately disappear on his face. And he's going to say, It can't be you. You disappeared. And all of the Inquisitors are confused. All the knights are confused at this point. Mostly at his reaction. You can tell this man is definitely grizzled. Now that you're close, you do see scarring on him, as well as these crystal formations. So what do you say to him?
I'm so sorry that I was away. I'm so sorry I wasn't there to see you grow up, but you look so strong. You've risen to quite the rank. What happened to you? What's going on with your scars? Was there an accident?
And you see he coughs that salt lung cough, and he says, "The salt lung was a little bit in the infancy of what we knew back then. Advanced salt lung really takes its toll. Starts to lock the joints up. You gotta keep moving." And so he points to that emblem of the heart and he says, "Eventually, it always gets to the heart."
Well, looks like fate's brought us back together. I'm so happy to have caught you, before that day comes. Death comes for us all, though, I suppose. Am I right?
He just starts laughing, which all of the knights are confused about. And you'll see he kind of hops around, and you're going to hear, the clacking. It's pretty loud.
He's doing the classic pep dance.
Yeah, he's doing a little pep dance.
I'm joining him in the pep dance.
I still remember it. And it's like an old dog that sees a friend. That's a lot worse than I thought after I said it. Anywho, that's what it's like.
Old dog friend.
Yeah, old dog friend.
Well, Sergeant, I guess I call you Sergeant now. My friends and I, we're back. We were frozen and kept away in our conflict with the Ice Jester, but we're here. We'd like to speak to Queen Wendy. She still reigns.
As you say, we were frozen. There's like a kind of gasp amongst all of the knights, and their swords come up, and he just raises his spoon or his hand up, and they all will get down just a little bit. Tensions die down just a little bit. And he says, I'm sure these four mean something different than that.
Frozen in time. I'm so sorry. Frozen in time. Stopped.
You must speak with her holy freshness, with Queen Wendy, yes. She needs to be the one to see you. And he starts looking at you three, the other three, says, this is impossible. Yes, you will. These four are cleared. Let them go. They're free of the freeze. Let them leave and see Wendy. And he'll just, you can tell that he recognizes you, or if he doesn't, he wants it to be so. So then Inquisitor Jebediah will say, "Oh, then let's take you to Queen Wendy."
This is what we've been asking for since we first met your Inquisitors on the road. Lead on.
Yeah. And they will lead you to the castle.
I say thank you to Sergeant Pepper. I give him a big hug before, as is my right.
We will speak again.
Yeah.
I lean to Lady Knight Holsteena and go, "What the fuck was that guy?"
Pep.
No. Oh. What?
As you look over, you can kind of see it, but like, this is a really messed up Pep. Been through a lot.
He's still flossing.
He's still flossing. He's still flossing. Okay. Still going. Did I just almost knock my dice thing over again after wonderful Sequoia had picked it up? Yes. But I didn't.
You just knocked over your other dice.
So, we can ignore those. Oh my god, they're... Fuck. Anywho. Leading the way, Inquisitor Jebediah will take you towards the castle, and you will rise upon the steps that you remember. Going along in this courtyard, I should also mention, you will see a new statue of Wendy across from the old one, the one that you remember, quite well, the one with her in her regal battle armor, fighting the Freeze at all fronts, big W sword in hand. And across the way, you will see a more holy and maybe matron-y version of her with her hands out to the side, sword still there, but in kind of along the side in the ground, and definitely kind of arms open and these rays of radiance built in behind it. And you will raise upon the steps. As you get to the top, Inquisitor Jebediah will say, "Wait here for a moment," and you'll have a moment to kind of look out over Freshtovia and the land. As you gaze out into the lands of Freshtovia, you see much more clear from here, far to the south, in the morning light, that wall you saw before. Down where that freeze, where the deep freeze was, past the beef gate, you will see, actually you can see the beef gate. You could see the beef gate. And along both sides, covering where that frozen land would be, you see these tall, 120 feet tall shoots of green and leafy. And it looks like the same kind of plant, though much larger, that you all got to see when you made your incursion long ago to the Temple of Panda. Yeah, bamboo. Which is confusing because there was not a wall of bamboo there before. Intriguing. Coming out, Inquisitor Jebediah will say, and he has kind of a worried look on his face. He says, "The Queen will see you now." And as he steps aside, the doors to the Great Hall will open, and about 60 feet down, you will see, sitting on the beef throne, Queen Wendy. And that's where we'll end for tonight.
Thank you for joining us on another NCRP Productions podcast. We couldn't do this without you, so please like and subscribe everywhere we're found, including YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, Google, Apple, Spotify, and other great podcast sites. If you'd like to help us continue making more content, we'd love to have your support on our Patreon. And if you have any feedback for us, please feel free to comment on our podcasts or email us directly at ncrpproductions@gmail.com. And we'd like to give a special shout out to our current patrons, our Seegson Employees of the Month, F.S., Michael H., Michael P., and our Breaker of Seals, the Jones, Frank H., Christopher C., Matthew K., and the Lab. Trademarked. Thank you all. We truly, truly appreciate it.